Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knitting Pastor podcast. Today is Friday, April 6th. I'm your host, Heather, and I would like to welcome you to my podcast. I want to say a hello to all of my returning viewers. Thank you so much for coming back to spend some time with me today. And for any new viewers, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. I hope that you like what you see. I am a United Methodist pastor serving two rural churches right now. I live in Parsonage, which is a home owned by one of the churches near one of them, with my two kids, Abby and Philip, and our gorgeous, huge Rhodesian Ridgeback, Flint, who's sitting over here in the chair next to me. So I just want to, I'm kind of out of it today. I wanted to just say welcome to everyone. As far as business type stuff, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. I am heatheredknitz. Those will be on the down bar. Please give me a follow if you would like. You can see updates of knitting projects on Instagram and on Ravelry. I do keep my project pages pretty well updated. So if you have any questions about anything I show, you can check out my Ravelry page, and that should give you some of the information that you might need. Because unfortunately, due to a very busy schedule that I have, I don't do show notes any longer. I just don't have a whole lot of extra time, and so I would rather spend that time doing the podcast and then working on my knitting projects than putting together show notes. So I apologize for that, but as I said, my Ravelry page would be an excellent source of information, or you can also contact me. And you can contact me via either Instagram or Ravelry. I check both places pretty regularly. Instagram will probably be faster because that's on my phone and I check it daily, and I don't always check Ravelry daily. But I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding that. So that's really all that I've got going on as far as business type stuff. So I don't have, I have a little bit to talk to you guys about today, not a whole lot. This has been spring break for the kids and they have been gone. And so I took this week off and did a little bit of a trip that I'll talk about more later on. So I feel kind of like discombobulated and a little out of it. Podcasting, because if I'm a little out of it, that's why. It's been a weird week because I haven't had kids around and had to work, so it's been a little strange. And I also traveled, so I'm still kind of regaining my bearings from all of that, so bear with me. What I am wearing is my Oxbow cardigan, which I finished not too long ago, and this is a design by Andrea Mowry, and I knit it out of the recommended yarn, which is Brooklyn Tweed Quarry, and I really like it. It's nice and kind of oversized. The one thing I would say is I have been wearing this because even though it's April, it's like 20 degrees outside right now, so it's been really cold. So I have been able to get a lot of wear out of this. It's very warm and very cozy, and I really like it. The one thing I would say, and I might do this, is it needs like a button, like right here, to kind of help keep it closed a little bit because it can tend to fall open. But a button like right here. So what I've been doing when I've been wearing it out is putting like a shawl pin right here to keep it closed. But I think I want to get like a big wooden button and do just like because obviously I'm not going to do a buttonhole because the button band's already done, but do like a loop that I can loop the button around. I think that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I am currently wearing. I'm not going to babble anymore about this, and I'm going to just get into the stuff that I have been working on in the past couple of weeks. So I do have a finished object to show to you this week. And these are the second pair of socks in Mina Phillips' Wanderlust collection, which is one of two sock collections that she's doing this year. And one of my Make 9s was to do all of the socks in both of these collections. She's releasing them like every other month. And so this is the Wanderlust collection, which is a little bit more beginner. It's kind of more just like knit purl stitches or yarn overs, things, simple stuff like that. Nothing too weird or complicated. And so these are the Derive socks. Let me hold them up close so you can see the pattern detail a little bit better. And I I love how these turned out. I just think that they are so fun, and I really, really like them a lot. And I can't wait to wear them. But they're going in my box of socks, so they'll have to wait a little while. But yeah, I love these socks. The pattern was really intuitive. And once you kind of get the hang of it and you know how to read your knitting, you don't even need to look at the pattern anymore. It's a 12-row repeat. So yeah, it just turned out wonderfully. I really like it. I did a Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And then the yarn that I use, this is leftovers from my What the Fade shawl, and this is Hedgehog Fibers in her sock base, and it's a potluck colorway, so it's like a not repeatable. And then the heels, cuffs, and toes are from Molly of a Homespun House, and this was a little that I got. I don't think it had a colorway name. I don't remember if it did. But I just think that these look they're just so much fun. And this yarn was so much fun to work with because it was so colorful. You were always like, what color am I going to get next? So that was a lot of fun. So I really, really enjoyed these. I did these a little different. I put down the DPNs for a little while, and I knit these on my Addy Turbos magic loop because of the way the pattern was. It was going to be kind of difficult translating it onto DPNs, so I just did it magic loop, which is fine because I'm fine doing magic loop. I've just been on a DPN kick lately. Yeah, so this is the only FO that I have this week, unfortunately, but I was happy to have a pair of socks completed. I do also have a hoe to show you this week because I always like to have a pair of just plain vanilla socks going because of like moving knitting or band concerts or things like that where I don't really want to have to think about the pattern, or I need to just be able to like knit on muscle memory and knit in the dark. So I finished the first one of those that I was working on, and this is just a plain vanilla sock, and this is Knit Picks Felici. The colorway is escaping me at the moment. I don't remember what it's called. I am sorry about that. But it is Knit Picks Felici. I think I'm going to give these to Abby because the foot ended up like a little bit short for me. It's fine. And her foot's a little bit smaller than mine. So I think that I could wear them, but I think I'll give them to Abby because she's kind of been wanting some more hand knit socks from me, and I'd be happy to let her have these. So it's just a plain vanilla sock. I did my typical 1x1 twisted rib because that's the cuff that I like to do. It fits me the best. And then I did like 2 repeats of the striping pattern, and I did heel flap and gusset. I usually do a Fish Lips Kiss Heel, but I decided that I wanted to do a heel flap and gusset for these, so that's what I did, and then did a rounded toe for the toe. And this is 64 stitches around. And I did these on my Knit Picks wooden needles. I think they're the Majestic set. I don't have them with me. So I did do it on DPNs, which I liked in the dark because I wasn't fiddling with the cord as much. Although I was a little bit worried about dropping a needle and losing a needle because I tend to do that. But it worked out fine. I didn't drop a needle or lose a needle. I have not cast on the second one yet, but I need to do that and kind of have that ready to go should I need some mindless knitting for anything. But yeah, so this is my hoe for the week. So what's currently on my needles, I have 3 projects to show you that are on my needles, which is kind of more than I guess I've kind of been sitting at that. And the first one is my Meandering Shawl by Stephen West, and this poor pattern is like, it just keeps getting put down and other things keep taking priority over it, and I don't know why, because I'm really enjoying the knit. I just keep putting it down. But here it is. This is all that I've got so far. This is the darker side. This is the lighter side. I think I was at the bagel when I last showed it to you, so that's all that I've done. I haven't done a whole lot. And it's getting put down again to when I show you the next project because it's just kind of languishing and not really being worked on. And I want this, and I don't know why I'm struggling with just actually knitting it. I don't know if I'm just like not in a brioche mood, because it is, a little more time consuming having to do every row twice. So I don't know if that's just kind of putting a damper on it or what, but I love the pattern. I love the yarn. I love the feel of this. I love the way it's all knitting up. I'm just not working on it, which doesn't make any sense. So some information about the yarn. This blue and green, which is my really messy cake right here, is from A Beautiful Mess Yarnworks, and the colorway is called Grassy Knees, and it's a DK 100% merino. The other one, this side, is Knit Picks Capretta in the platinum colorway, and that's an MCN merino cashmere nylon, also DK weight. And this is it's so soft and squishy, and I want to get it done because it's gorgeous, and I'm really liking the way, I'm liking the contrast of it, I'm liking all of it, but for some reason I'm just not working on it. Yeah, and I'm knitting these on my Knit Pro Zings. This is a 4.5 millimeter needle, which I believe is a US 7. Is it a US 7? Yeah, US 7. And then my little charms on here, I have, it'll focus on it, is a little bagel and cream cheese. Oh, there's the cream cheese, the bagel, and it's got a little knife with cream cheese on it from Sucre Miniatures. And then this is just a dog bone that I had made myself. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. But again, it's kind of gotten put down again because I'm going to show you next what has kind of taken its place. Helen Stewart of A Curious Handmade is doing her mystery knit along right now. And I just really thought about, I knit her Land of Sweets cowl for Knitvent, and I loved it. And her patterns are always so beautiful and so stunning. And I haven't knit one of her shawls yet, and I really would like to. And she was doing a mystery knit along. It was the Impressionist mystery knit along. And it was kind of thinking about things inspired by Impressionist paintings. And I really like Monet's water lilies. You can see I have one of them here. I have another one hanging up over there. I really have always liked that work and just felt very calmed and comforted by them for some reason. So I decided that I wanted to try this knit along, and I dug through my stash to find colors, and I did. And Clue 1 was released last Saturday, so the next Clue will be out tomorrow. And you guys, would you believe it? I am caught up on the Clue. I know, right? Unreal. This is living in my Needles Up tote because I don't have any project bags that aren't for socks, which is really an investment that I need to make. I did not go to Needles Up, but I wanted to support Sue and Chelsea, so I bought one of their totes. It's really nice and big and holds a lot of things. I had this sweater in it. So yeah. So I'm going to show you the shawl, the Impressionist Mystery Knit Along shawl. So if you don't want to see any of Clue 1, you can look away and avert your eyes. If you don't care or you're already done with it, then you can keep watching. So this is Clue 1 so far. And it is, I am loving the way these colors are playing together. So let me just give you a close-up. It's been pretty basic so far, not real challenging to knit, but really nice and mindless. And I love it. And it's very subtle. My colors are very subtle, which I really, really like, and I really can't wait to see how this is going to turn out. So the yarn that I'm using, my light color yarn is this, which is from Molly of a Homespun House. This was her February, I think, Harry Potter Yarn and Charm Club, and this is called Ginny Visits Zonkos, and I just love this. I wish I had more of it because it's so beautiful, and it's knitting up just breathtaking. So that's the first part here. Then my next color, my medium color, is from Legacy Fiber Art, Sue and Chelsea, and this is Violet, You're Turning Violet. And again, this just, they just go together so well. And this is so my color palette. Like I don't think I could pick anything that, well, I don't know. Both of these, this whole shawl is just like my color palette perfectly. So that's the medium color, which you can see is kind of starting to get worked. It's the wrong side, worked in. And then the last color, the darker color, is this. And this is from Chili Knits, Connie. And this color is called Mar, which is showing up more purple on the camera. It's really kind of more blue than purple. So that's my darker color, and that's just kind of been introduced here at the top. So the colors are subtle, but you can definitely see the transition. And I think as more of this gets worked in, you'll be able to see it more. But right now there's only 2 rows of it. So yeah, I love it. I can't wait for Clue 2 to come out and keep up with it. And I want to say something about the way Helen Stewart writes her patterns, because that's the best that I have seen. She does like a chart, and like every row is kind of done out, and she also has a column that tells you like the percentage complete of your project, which is really cool, because then you can kind of see how far into this am I. Because, you know, when you're working a shawl like this and you feel like, you know, you've been knitting, and it's like 99 rows, but it's only 30% of the project. So it's only a third done. But I really, really like that a lot. And it also kind of helps me for planning the knitting. I think, okay, if I can knit 5% each day, then I'll be able to get it done before the next clue comes out. So I really like that a lot. So I really recommend looking at her patterns, because of that. The way that she writes them is wonderful, and it really helps you keep track of where you are, and you don't get lost in the pattern at all. So fantastic pattern writing. I can't recommend it enough. My charm on here goes with the Ginny Visits Zonkos, and this is a pygmy puff, which is, oh my gosh, so cute. And this is from Simply Serving. It came with the Ginny Visits Zonkos skein of yarn from a homespun house. And then I'm knitting these on, which happened to actually match my project. Again, Knit Pro Zings, because I'm really loving the zings. These are a US 6, a 4mm needle. And the joins on these are wonderful. I've had some problems with the joins on some of the other ones, but these joins are like perfect. Go figure. I don't know. So I don't know if it's because it's a bigger needle, but the join is really good and really smooth, and I'm not having any issues with that, which makes me super happy. So yeah, so that has been like my primary knitting, and will be until it's all done. I think the last clue comes out at the beginning of May. So that's kind of like my go-to knitting right now, and I love it. I have one other work in progress, because one must always have socks on the needles. And this is living in my Fun in the Fox purple unicorn bag, which I love. And these are the nestled socks, which is the second sock in Mina Phillips' Cozy collection, which is a little bit more advanced. And I'm not super far on this. I've got the cuff done, and then I've just started in on the pattern, so you can't really see a whole lot with it. But this is the sock. I'm using, this is Fawn and the Fox yarn from Lara. I need a better ball winder. I'm having such a difficult time with my ball winder, you guys. It's like look at this. It's making me crazy. And I just need to do something about it, because I hate winding yarn, because my ball winder is obnoxious. Anyway, she was doing some mystery like yarn clubs, and this was one of them, and it's called Tree Climber, and I love it. It's so like foresty and just feels really springy to me, because it's so like green and vibrant, and it makes me think of being in the woods, and so I really am enjoying it a lot. So I'm using it for my nestled socks. And I am using my Knit Pro Zings US 1.5, 2.5mm, which are my standard sock needles. And my cute little charm is also from Simply Serving, the Harry Potter yarn and charm cup, and it is Pigwidgeon. And what else would go in a tree but an owl? Hedwig got some love from my last pair of socks, so I thought I'd give Pig a little love. So yeah, so these are my my sock knitting. And I'm also using this super cute DPN cozy from the Steel City Stitcher, which I really like, and it's got this really cute interior, and it's like perfect for keeping my needles safe. And yeah, so one must always have socks on the needles. So I have those going for, you know, when I finish up the clue, I can work on my socks. I will say I'm doing pretty well on my box of socks this year. I have every month knit a sock. So we're just finished March. I have 3 pairs of socks. I'm pretty happy with that. So I think I'll be able to pull that off. We'll see if any of my other make 9 objects actually get done, because knitting time is not as frequent as it used to be, and I'm going to be starting school, and yeah. So that is really all that I have for knitting to show you this week. I do not have any acquisitions. I have been good and not purchased any yarn. Although I am a little bit tempted to get the May Yarn and Charm Club from Molly of a Homespun House, because May is my birthday month. And I missed out on the April, May, June Harry Potter Yarn and Charm Club, which bums me out. And then Molly is moving to the US, which is exciting because she'll be in the US and not in Germany, and will be a good thing for her family. So that's really wonderful. Congratulations, Molly. Not that you are watching this at all, but congratulations. I think it's wonderful that you guys are making the move, and I hope it goes well. But because she's moving over the summer, that makes me pretty certain that there is not going to be like a July, August, September club? Yeah, that sounds right. So I won't be able to get that. So I'm really thinking about doing the May one for my birthday month, and getting one of her beautiful skeins of yarn, because they are just beautiful, so beautiful. So I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but I may, and you may see that when it comes in May. So yeah, so that's all that I've got for the yarn stuff. The rest is just going to kind of be me babbling about some things in my life. So if you are not interested in that, thank you so much for checking me out. If you liked what you saw, do give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe. It kind of gets more exposure for us on YouTube. And leave any comments, questions down below, or contact me if you wish. And so yeah, that's it for the knitting. Stick around for life type stuff. So what's kind of been going on in my life? In the realm of media, I did finish 2 books. One was an audiobook. One was an actual book. I finally finished an actual book. It's been months, but I finally finished it. Go me. Because I've been making it a point to like read a little bit of it every night before bed, which I think helped out a lot. So the audiobook that I finished listening to was called The Chalice by Nancy Below, and it was the 2nd book in the series that she's written about Joanna Stafford. And it was really enjoyable. I didn't like it as well as The Crown, I don't think, which was the 1st book in the series. And it's kind of like a twisty mystery thing. And Henry VIII is ruling England, and he's, destroyed the monasteries. And Joanna was a nun, or a novice nun, and now she isn't anymore because those are all gone. And so she's kind of trying to find her place. And she gets involved in this prophecy about King Henry VIII, and she's supposed to play a really important role in it. And so that prophecy kind of unfolds throughout the book. So there's a little bit of like mystery going on with it, and it's the Tudor period, which is really my favorite time period. I absolutely love that time period. It wasn't quite as engaging as The Crown. It was a little bit slower. It took a little bit more time to kind of get going with it, but I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, and so it was a good listen. The physical book that I finished reading was called Sword Song by Bernard Cornwell, and that's the 4th book in the Saxon series. So if you watch Netflix at all, The Last Kingdom, series that's on Netflix. These are the books that series is based on. And it tells the story of Uhtred, son of Uhtred, who is Saxon. Well, he's from Northumbria, so he's Saxon, but from the northern part. And he has this thing because he was raised by Danes, and so he's throughout the series his struggle with the Danes and whether he's Saxon or Dane has kind of come into play. But he has pledged himself to Alfred, who is king of Wessex, and or West Saxon, and he's pledged himself to him as his like sword, and they're fighting constantly with the Norse invasion. So Danes and Vikings and Northmen are all kind of coming into England and trying to conquer England, and the Saxons are trying to hold England against the Danes. So there's a lot of war that happens, but I find it interesting to read about that part of British history because it's set back in like 800 CE. So I enjoy it. Because that's kind of the style of book that I like to read and the time period that I like to read. But if you're not into like war stuff, I don't really dig the war stuff as much. But if you're not into that or that time period, then you probably wouldn't enjoy it. But it is extremely well written. He writes battle scenes really well, so you really feel like you're there, which is not always a good thing because it's a nasty, brutal, bloody battle. But it's really well written, and I have enjoyed the series a lot. And I don't know, I have another physical book that I might pick up, or I might read the 5th book in the series. I haven't decided yet because I just finished it yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to pick up anything new yet. So I always try to read a novel before I go to bed and kind of put down all of the theology stuff and the church stuff and just kind of let my mind go to someplace not real, I guess you could say. So that's what I have been reading. As far as what I've been watching, I really haven't been watching any series because I've been trying desperately to catch up on podcasts. I'm like shamefully behind, and I've been like watching podcasts and having them on in the background like constantly all week, and I'm getting there. I think I have like 4 more to watch, which is still kind of a lot, but I'm getting there, and I don't feel like I'm not watching stuff from like back in February. So that's what I've been watching. I really, though, would like to just settle in and watch a series. The latest season of Bates Motel just came onto Netflix. I really have been enjoying the Great British Baking Show, so I would really like to watch more of that and just kind of relax with that. Abby and I have been watching Zonko's Just Desserts, which is so much fun. So I'd like to be able to finish that with her. There's a lot of things that I would like to watch. I just don't have time to do a lot of it. So we're getting there. But yeah, that's kind of that part. So now I'm going to move on to my section that I call From the Pulpit, where I talk about what's been going on in my church world. It's not preaching, but it's just church stuff. Because that's kind of a major portion of my life. I am a pastor, and so church is my job. And it's a job, but it's not really a job. It's wonderful. I love it. We have just finished Easter and the season of Lent, which for those of you who are not familiar with the Christian faith, Easter celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the Jews and the Romans, and then the story is that 3 days later, God raised him from the dead, and he appeared to his disciples. And so Easter is celebrating that time, and the period of Lent leading up to it is a period of preparation where we kind of prepare ourselves and reflect on the ways that God has touched us in our lives. So that's what Lent is about. And people will give things up for Lent or take on a new practice for Lent or something like that to kind of remember the sacrifices made. So that's what that season is all about. And it is the most important season on the Christian calendar. Easter is the most important holiday. It is the holiest day of the year for us. So it's kind of a big deal. Last week, you saw I had a vlog. If you want to know more about this, go check out my vlog from last week where I vlogged a little bit about Holy Week, which is the week leading up to Easter. And that goes into a little bit more detail on what all of that is. But I did Easter. That went really, really well. I had a wonderful turnout in both of my churches. And so I spent Monday of this week following up with the guests of the churches and sending them cards and doing things like that, inviting them back. And I won't be in church this Sunday because I took this week off. So it's maybe not the greatest of timings, but I needed to do it for other things. But it'll be interesting to see if any of those people come back. I certainly hope that they do, because, you always want to grow and bring the love of God and the love of Christ to everyone. And so I hope that they come back. But this week I have been on vacation, and which has been nice to kind of, after all of the hecticness of Lent and Easter, to just kind of decompress a little bit. But it was kind of a working vacation as well, because I went over to Chicago and to Evanston to visit the seminary that I will be going to. I don't know that I mentioned this on the vlogcast last week, but I had applied to seminary and I was accepted, and I received a scholarship for over half of my tuition, which is wonderful. Seminary is a master's degree program. You get a master's of divinity, and it begins you into being an ordained minister. And I'll go into what all of that means probably in the vlogcast, because I talk a lot more about what my life is like as a pastor in that. So I'm not going to go into that here. But if you're interested in any of that, check out the vlogcast, because I do more of my personal life in that, and you can see a little bit more of what all of that involves. So I went and visited my seminary that I'll be going to, which is in Evanston, just north of Chicago. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I mean, the weather was terrible. It was like sleeting and nasty and awful, but the campus is beautiful. I love Chicago myself. I could live in Chicago. I'm not a big city person. I say this, I could live in Chicago. I live in like farmland at the moment, but I could live in Chicago because I like the city a lot. So we checked out a little bit of stuff in the city. We went to the Field Museum, and ate pizza in Chicago, and then we hung around in Evanston and visited the campus. I was only there for 2 nights, but it was good. It was good to see the university, or the seminary that I'll be going to, and to meet some of the people and learn a little bit more on how in the world I'm going to be able to do this and commute to Chicago. But it's going to happen, and I will bring you guys along for this journey. It will be quite a journey. I'm going part-time, so it's going to take a while. I joked with Abby. She's in 7th grade right now, and I joked with her and said, hey, maybe we'll graduate at the same time, because it's probably how long it will take me to finish my Master's of Divinity. So, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to start classes. I'll be able to do classes online for some of it, which is wonderful, and that's how I will start. And yeah, it was really good. And it's been good to kind of have the week to just kind of relax a little bit and decompress. And I cleaned my house because I hadn't cleaned it since before Lent started, because Lent was insane. So I'm just kind of, that's been what's going on in the church life. My personal life, my babble, my family is not doing well health-wise. I mentioned before that my grandfather is in kidney failure and back in hospice, and we're really kind of reaching into the homeward stretch. He's getting weaker and not doing as well. I talked to my mom earlier today, and they're going to bring in a hospital bed now. So I'm going to go over there this weekend and visit with him again. I'd like to be present as much as possible. It's really hard though living. I live, an hour away now. And it's a lot on my mom's plate, because my brother also had rotor cuff surgery and he is laid up. So, and he lives with her because he's special needs. And so she's really caregiving a lot. Fortunately, my aunt is also staying there and helping bear the burden with my grandfather. But it's just kind of a blah time. So that's kind of been a bummer. So knitting, trying to keep trying to keep the kids around so that it helps, lighten things a little bit and gives my mom something fun and nice to do and to look forward to. So yeah, I mentioned my trip over to Chicago, and I will put some video in so you can see some of the stuff that we saw in the Field Museum. It's not a lot, but I'll just throw it in there as some extra content that you guys can check out. Yeah. So that's all that I have for you guys. I think this was a little bit of a longer episode. Thank you so much for checking me out. Like I said before, if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe. It gets more exposure out on YouTube, and it would be awesome so more people can come and talk with knitting with me, which would be great. Next week will be a vlog week, so it will be a vlogcast at the end of the week, and I will be back at you in 2 weeks for a regular podcast. In the meantime, I hope you guys are all doing well and knitting like crazy and enjoying whatever creative stuff you're doing or anything in your life, be it creative or not. I hope it's going well. And thanks again for checking me out, and I will see you again next week for a vlogcast. Bye, guys.